Welcome to the Car Guys, and I am here at a secret destination not far from Manchester Airport. I'm here at Wizard Sports and Classics, which is a purveyor of the sort of cars that I really like to test drive, to get underneath, to have a look at. A lot of 90s, 80s, 70s cars. But every time I've done a search online, this place has come up. So I've finally managed to do a road trip, and we're going to do a full tour of this eclectic collection of cars. So if that sounds like your kind of Wizard vodka, let's get on with it. Well, here I am then. I'm here at Wizard Sport and Classics. This is Richard. He owns this collection of cars and also trades in them. And we're here to have a look round this, the word I think I would choose is eclectic collection of vehicles, which I know you are going to find interesting because you, like me, love cars. You love cars from the 80s, the 90s, you like the quirky stuff, and certainly that is what we've got here, Richard. Is that right?
We've certainly got a collection of quirk, yeah. We can help you out with that.
These cars here, when I first sort of became aware of you and what you were doing, it was because I was doing searches for cool 90s and 80s cars, and you generally had a lot of them. So that's where I first came across you. I get the sense that they're not all just cars that are for sale or currently for sale. A lot of them are your own sort of personal runabouts.
The interest in the cars of the era is determined by my age, obviously. I have an interest in old cars. I had a car collection that was a bit bigger than this at the time. I needed somewhere to store them, and I spoke to the landlord of this place and said, well, take it, you'll fill it. And I sort of shrugged my shoulders. This was 8-9 years ago now. I thought, how am I going to fill this? And lo and behold, we're at the door.
This is dangerous because, as any car collector or car obsessive or car guy knows, if you give us space to store cars, more space than we currently have, we will fill it. We will expand our collection to fill the space.
Well, I do have one in, one out rule.
Oh, well, that's a good rule.
Yeah.
It's a good rule. I need that rule. And as we walk around, obviously the cars, we're going to do that in a sec. We're going to go around, look through them all. Should people viewing this view the cars, when you're saying, oh, this is my car here, this is my pride and joy, should people take that always to mean unless they make a good offer?
No, take everything with a pinch of salt. That's the joke. That's the joke, I think, is that I'm keeping this one. How long are you keeping it for? No, I'm keeping it forever. Where's that car? Oh, yeah, it got sold.
So everything's for sale.
There's nothing you can do about that because there's always something else that you want.
Yeah. So what would be on your want list at the moment?
Japanese stuff, 90s Japanese stuff. Imprezas and Mitsubishis, I think. They're just on fire at the moment. Yeah. They've got such a long way to go because you can buy all the bits for them. They're well known, everybody knows what they are. So that's on my buying list at the moment.
Without further ado, we've obviously got to get in there and show you some of the cars. What we're going to do a walk around. Richard's going to tell us about some of the little treats that we've got here. I'm going to ooh and ah and gasp at them and sometimes maybe fall down on my knees.
You're going to buy any?
Well, who knows? We shall see. We shall see. I mean, stranger things have happened.
5 minutes later.
Now, first of all, a car that I am very interested in, and you know that because I've done a lot of Lexus stuff on the channel. This is the mighty LS400, the quintessential, the greatest car ever made, an uber luxo barge. This is a particularly fine example. It's black, it's low mileage, it is silky smooth, and because the car guys are quite interested in old smokers in luxo barges, we've got sort of 3 or 4 of them in the garage. Obviously this one caught my eye, so tell us a little bit about this little...
Well, you're quite right. This one, Mark II, you probably know, they're slightly different. They all look the same, but they're not. The Mark I is a completely different style, shape. It just looks like a classic, solid piece of engineering, and that's, I think, what makes them desirable.
It's this and the Honda Legend, I think, of the certain thing. They've both got that chunky
You look
look.
at Honda Legend, it's a third of the price. Plus, you can't buy parts from them anymore. They're really difficult to buy parts for.
Right.
We've looked at
so I shouldn't buy one then, is what you're saying?
Well, it's up to you, how you spend your money. I can't tell you, but I wouldn't be buying one.
Was it a 1995 car, is it?
Yeah.
38,000 miles only. Wow.
Well, they're legendary, aren't they, for doing million miles. The Lexus will still be alive long after we passed.
Electric everything, leather, incredible build quality.
That's it.
I mean, I'm selling it to myself. What am I doing? I should be letting you do this. This is a chauffeur car as well.
Yeah, it's an ex-chauffeur car, but finding them is getting harder and harder and harder. That's the issue we've got. And again, what's happened is the prices have shifted along as well. It's not necessarily all about pricing, it's sort of with finding the good cars, and they tend to price themselves.
And these sort of cars, what do they go for? Like 10, 11?
Well, it depends. It all depends. You can buy a 70, 80, 90,000 mile one of these. I mean, most of them are done over 100, but anything sub 100 is around about the 6, 7, 8 grand mark. nice history, etc. I mean, we saw one recently, 26 service stamps.
This is a wafting machine.
Oh, yeah. But they don't hang around, though. I mean, they're 300 horsepower, just shy of 300 horsepower, V8. Oh. Those are some ooh noises, aren't they? Oh. Why do you like it?
There's something to me about the 90s and about Japanese cars. I'm a big sucker, but I just love a big-engined, luxurious car. I have a very soft spot, I have to say. Right, let's move on before I do something silly.
This, again, is another typical of a stock car that we like to have. So it's unusual in that you don't see many of them anymore. It was coveted at the time. I mean, I remember reading the Autocar reviews when they had a little photographs down the side of each car that were all hand-drawn, and then the review on each of them. This one came out. Everyone understood that it was a better build quality, but it wasn't quite as desirable because of the cost. But the testament is, it's still now as nice as it was in 1990.
These are proper pocket
This is an old car.
Yeah.
It's a classic car. It's 1990. But if you hop in it, and you like Japanese cars...
Oh, see?
Look at the ergonomics, though.
First rule of selling cars.
Get someone in it.
Get them in it, yeah. This is it. So I had a Prelude VTEC, and
well,
similar.
What they did, they carried over the high-end cars, like the Prelude and the Accord and etc., and put the bits in this. I mean, look, most people had the switches on the inside because it's cheap. Honda put them on the doors.
Yeah, think of the wiring.
Think of the wiring loop, yeah. No power steering in this either.
Oh, these
electric pop-up sunroof, 5-speed. I mean, look at the seats as well. I mean, you've got these... And then you've got this strange arrangement at the back. So have you seen the seats in the rear?
Oh, yeah,
it's a bench, isn't it?
Yeah.
A single bench.
It's like a 911.
Yeah.
This one's got a beautiful sort of teardrop shape to it, and it looks fast, but they're just, like you say, you never see these on the road anymore.
No. I don't know where they've all gone. Did they get picked up by the scrappage scheme?
Yeah, probably. So something like this, what's the price of a CRX in...
Sub 10 grand. So this is now sold, yeah. There's a chap in Scotland's bought this.
He's a very lucky boy then, isn't he?
Well, we'll see.
This appears to be, if my eyes don't deceive me, a Ferrari 550 Maranello.
It is indeed, yeah.
Is this your car?
Yes, yeah. I've had this for just 10 years now, I think.
Red interior.
Oxblood, I think it's called, with Grigio titanium.
Look at that. Get in there. Get in there.
It's going to be a bit dark, I think, but you might get the...
You'd be amazed.
But I still think that this is one of the prettiest cars Ferrari have ever made.
Look at that.
A modern Ferrari, anyway.
You cannot beat red. Look at the red.
It's another car that's not for sale, but...
Not for sale? Really?
Of course it's for sale.
Now this is, what is it, Sirocco, is it?
Yes, Mark II Sirocco.
Good Lord.
But someone has done something quite odd to this.
Oh, wow.
So they've stuck a 16-valve engine in it out of a Mark II Golf, 16-valve engine, and individual throttle bodies. So it sounds insane. And it flies. It absolutely flies.
Wow.
It's incredible. And also, it's producing, I would say, it must have 20% more power.
Sirocco, maybe not my thing, but obviously a 205 GTI is. Is this the 1.9 or
1.6?
1.6.
Yeah. In red, original wheels, sensible mileage. I think it's sub 100,000 miles, about 92 or something like that. They've always done well, 205s.
Yeah.
Finding a nice one that's not rotten, that hasn't had a load of modifications, is not easy anymore.
This one's for sale?
Yeah, that's for sale. I think it's around
what level?
13 grand or something like that, there or thereabouts.
13 grand for a 205 GTI.
I mean, the range, they're crazy. There's no rhyme or reason to the... I think it's how much people want for them. You see them at 20 grand and you see them at 6, and there doesn't seem to be any difference between them until you dig down and have a proper look at them. And then you realise that the car at 6 grand needs 10 grand spending on it. It's the first 3 series.
Oh, okay. Wow.
They all came in 3 doors, but we've done 1 or 2 bits and pieces to it. We had the back bumper taken off and re-chromed, so that needs to go back on. It's
got a lovely combination of silver with blue, actually, which I always think works really well.
We have to remember when it was, I mean, this is 1979. They are 40 years old now. I mean, if you had a washing machine that was 40 years old, you'd be looking for a new one, wouldn't you? And then people are looking at these thinking, right, I'm going to drive it to Le Mans, I'm going to do this. So the testament to the build quality of these things.
But it's just got
they're just cool, aren't they?
It's that beautiful sort of sharky nose they have on them. It's not as extreme as the 6 series, the 635s, but they've all got that DNA. They all have that family
Well, that
shape.
was the thing with BMW, didn't they? They wanted... It was an aspirational car, so all of them looked as if they were part of the same family. What about little Mini? Last of the Coopers, before it turned to Rover, so it's badged as an Austin.
Look how
it's
small.
tiny. Yeah, but look how much space was inside it.
Yeah. Well, this was...
I can drive this.
Genius, wasn't it?
Yeah. There's a family of 4 can go in here, no problem. Go on holiday. Everybody did, didn't they? But these sing-along, they're absolutely fantastic. I think this is 8 grand.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I thought the prices of these had just skyrocketed.
There's no point in pricing them crazy because we don't sell them. But this has got 50,000 miles. It's got full history. I think it's got 4 owners. And it's original. It's not been painted. That's why I bought it.
But this is a perfect car. You buy 3 of these with your mates, and then you just go off through Italy, through Switzerland, and you just have an absolute blast.
Yeah. There's a theme there, isn't there? That's a good idea.
Yeah. Why is this languishing at the back?
We just haven't decided what to do with this yet. I mean, I need a bonnet because it's got a 4-wheel drive bonnet on it, but it's an early 2-wheel drive car. And Cosy prices went crazy for a while. And I think they were expected to keep going and keep going and keep going. But I'm not sure whether that's the case anymore. This runs and drives. It was MOT'd last year, I think.
So this is a Sapphire, isn't it?
Yep, it's a Sapphire, but it's a 2-wheel drive.
These at the time, this was the quintessential pursuit vehicle, the quintessential robber's vehicle. It was super fast, stable. You could get like 4 burly blokes into it, no problem.
That's why they got pinched there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Being a 2, I suppose it's an earlier car. It perhaps is worth more than the 4, but the market will decide ultimately what it's worth. So that will be for sale. We'll clean that up in, once the weather improves a bit.
They're definitely fetching decent money now, aren't they?
They are, yeah, and I think a lot creep out the woodwork when the people realise that the value. So what they've got sat in the shed is to pay their balance of the mortgage off without realising it. Subaru Impreza down by the bottom as well. That's my wagon that I'd run around in. If you went to the NEC, we had a small stand at the NEC, and that was there, and it generated a lot of interest, mainly because it had a BMX on the roof. This is an absolute choice weapon, and what somebody's done, I won't bore you with it, but somebody's gone to the trouble of spending the same value of a car in there.
Oh my God.
So it's a forged motor. Now these were notorious for blowing up. So somebody spent the best part of £6,000 on rebuilding engine, and it now runs a bit more horsepower than it had standard. It's not crazy, and it's probably the power it can cope with. It's about 360, but it just looks like a standard car, which I like.
Yeah.
There's nothing, obviously it's got gold wheels, but I think all cars should have gold wheels.
Well, yeah, there's a good argument for that.
Yeah. There's no car that doesn't look good with gold wheels. This belongs to a pal of mine. We do have a few American cars. We've always got 1 or 2.
Don't see it every day, do you? These sort of things?
And they're good value as well. I mean, it's a big V8 with a convertible, sub 20 grand. I mean, there's a lot of it. You can still buy every single component for this. Wow. So if you needed to rebuild one or fix anything.
Say if, for example, it got really squirrely on a wet roundabout, as I'm sure it definitely wouldn't.
I think the biggest issue is not the power, it's brakes. They don't think they're designed. I mean, they're quick, but they're not particularly good for handling. Yeah. That's for sure. 997 C2S.
Very hotly prized at the moment. 997 is getting a huge
Well, they're good cars, aren't they? They're
a
really good car. You could use it. I mean, you could use it every day. I don't think anybody will do, but 996.
Anything special about this one apart from it?
There's a couple of things. It's an early car.
That's a green interior.
Yeah, Nephrite it's called.
Wow.
But you were bold to spec that, weren't you, in 1999?
Definitely. Yeah,
that's the other thing, people forget how old these are. And the reason I bought it as well is it's a factory aero kit car.
Yep.
No sunroof. And the other thing I like about it as well, it's an early car. They had a throttle cable. Yeah. And they're not dear as well. I think that's 27 grand or something like that. And you tell me that's, it looks a lot of car to me for that sort of money.
It does. And last one to look at here, a very familiar sight, I understand, here at Wizard is the Clio Williams. Now, of course, I had a Clio Williams 2. This is a 1. This is the most collectible one.
Oh yeah, I like them because they're numbered. Exactly. So they have a dashboard plaque telling you which number they are, and the lower number they are, the slightly more collectible they are. I think we've always got one of these.
Always got one of these.
Yeah, there's always. But this is going this week, so if anybody's got one, I'd like to buy another one, please.
I enjoyed mine, but I just didn't drive it enough, and mine was a Williams 2 with 6,000 miles.
Wow!
And it was absolutely pristine. So yeah. Time will obviously tell that was a good move or a bad move.
I think...
Spoiler alert, it was a bad move. Well, Richard, thank you very much for taking us around these fantastic collection of cars. It's been truly interesting. Thank you.
My pleasure.
So much.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you. Obviously, there's things to think about. We'll do that off camera, naturally.
I'm thinking LX400.
Yeah, I bet you are. Yeah, exactly. If you like what we're doing here on The Car Guys, please subscribe, leave comments and likes, and there'll be another episode next week.